CapitalWeatherGang.com. Thanks for joining me on our weekly Sunday sunset chat. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, and X. I've got the PM update here for you on the blog at CapitalWeatherGang.com or direct link at CWG.news/latest. The beginning and end of the week start seasonably comfortable, I would argue, but our midweek trough in temperatures bring us some wind chills, especially noticeable on Wednesday when, maybe late Tuesday into early Wednesday, we see a few stray, non-accumulating snowflakes around the Beltway even. We'll see. We'll hunt for some snowflakes for you snow lovers, trust me. Thanks for joining, Peter. Hello. Thanks for tuning in from Facebook. Let's take a look at the pattern of temperatures for this week. Again, Monday, the work week starts off pretty mild, like a little cooler than today, but still pretty darn close to average. We start dipping even more so. Our cooling trend keeps going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think Wednesday is our coolest and most wind chill day, but we rebound back toward and above average for Friday and Saturday. Clouds dominate more often than not this week. I think here in the lightest blue, a quick summary here is that during daytime hours, clouds will more often than not filter the sunshine, if not block the sunshine at times. But we do see some breaks during some overnight hours. And, I'm not saying it's going to be a completely overcast week, but with the days being so short, sunlight hours are at a premium. So I just wanted to kind of give you your expectations for the week. If you're looking for sunshine, have to hunt for it every now and then. And speaking of hunting for snowflakes, in this instance, here's the most interesting potential for maybe some snowflakes mixing in around town. It's a low probability, but I know if you can go west and northwest of DC, you have a slightly better chance of seeing some snowflakes later Tuesday into early Wednesday. But the winter storm severity index here, kind of giving you a summary of winter storm impacts expected. Notice it does not even turn into a nuisance low impact storm along the I-81 corridor. This system that's coming later Tuesday into early Wednesday, generally speaking, going to be a nuisance event for the highest elevations of the Appalachian Mountains. And even our local National Weather Service office keeps kind of the low threat level there in the yellow for late Tuesday into early Wednesday. It's still, hard to even say more than a medium confidence that there will be a low impact event with some wintry precipitation at the highest elevations. Hey, good for maybe snowshoe and other skiers. You might like seeing some snow in the higher mountains. Here is the probability, and I'm again hunting for snowflakes closer to the Beltway. This is a coating of snow. What's the probability we even see a coating of snow? Look at that, 4% around Frederick, low single digits for most of even the I-81 corridor. So just to keep your snow lovers' expectations under control, snow amounts are even generally with the 10% chance of even seeing this much snow. Look at how it's not even a high amount. There's just a 10% or less chance of seeing an amount of snow kind of in a dusting coating range for the higher elevations, kind of those higher hills west and northwest of the Beltway in parts of Maryland and Virginia. Again, 90% chance we don't even see this much snow, but I know snow lovers start getting a little enticed this time of year now that we are in meteorological winter. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Latest forecast right here on CapitalWeatherGang.com or direct link. You can type into your browser at CWG.news/latest. Happy to see you again, Facebook, X, and YouTube. I'm live right now, simulcasting to you. Our weekly Sunday sunset chats are back. I think all is on schedule, maybe taking off the 24th, 25th of December, and then I'll probably see you New Year's Day for 2024. Wow, the year is almost coming to a close. David, good evening. Good to see you as well. And Kristen, I had a good Thanksgiving. I hope you did as well. And David, yep, all is good and re-energized after a great Thanksgiving. Julia, thanks so much for tuning in from YouTube, it looks like. I hope you had a good week as well. And snow, not ready for it. I know most of us are not thinking too much about snow. Really, I am hunting for those under 10% chance of some snowflakes around the Beltway. Just so there are no surprises this week, it is not going to accumulate around the Beltway, but hey, you might see our first visible stray snowflakes of the season. And we'll keep talking about that during our 20-minute simulcast here. Rainfall amounts, this is kind of the liquid equivalent, even if we do see a little mixed precipitation, mainly west and northwest of town and higher elevations. The liquid equivalent, kind of rain equivalent, is still pretty light. You could argue 0.1, 0.2 inches, max quarter inch of rainfall equivalent. It's really not a heavy amount of precipitation that we're looking at later Tuesday into early Wednesday. So just keeping that in mind, it's not going to be much of a kind of a weak, disorganized system moving through. But the good news in the rainfall department, the last few weeks now, we've seen some rain surpluses, which is a nice change from months of patterns that have built up into this drought situation. Still, even though reduced, it is persistent droughts along the I-81 corridor and the Blue Ridge and Appalachian Mountains, Macedon Range as well. Though, what here is the good news: we no longer have D3 drought here in the red. It's now been relegated down toward D2. Still a severe drought, I believe, is the term for the D2 darker orange here, but we are doing a little bit to shave and dent this drought that is mainly west of town along the I-81 corridor. Now, precipitation, looking ahead, I see no clear signal for either above or below precipitation for next work week in the 8 to 14 day period. Now, in the same time frame, temperatures give us a clearer signal. There's a decent chance, not quite as high a chance in the shorter term, but above average temperatures look like they kind of want to hang around for next work week as well. So that puts us with averages roughly within a few degrees in our region of 50 degrees for high temperature. This could, be interpretive, maybe seeing some, 50s, maybe 60 degrees another time over the next period of next work week, 8 to 14 days. Not a direct link, but I like to think, maybe we'll see another mild day or two going forward. Here it is, our earliest sunsets of the year. You will talk to me no earlier for the rest of the year. Maybe we'll lose a few more seconds of sunset this week, but slowly, as we get toward the winter solstice, we'll shave off some time here in the sunrise time, still shrinking the length of daylight from sunrise and sunset. But I'm trying to give you some good news that we no longer will lose any more evening light as far as minutes go going into the winter solstice. So this is as dark as it gets, as early as you're going to talk to me. I'm happy to see you, though. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Live right now on Facebook, on X, on YouTube. Please share these shortened links with your friends and family. Happy to simulcast and take your questions and comments now on any of our social media channels for our 20-minute chat every Sunday. It's great. Chad, need more rain, but I'm glad, I agree with you, and I'm glad you have perspective that what we've had recently is an improved pattern. We will take what we can get, even though maybe our midweek disorganized system only puts down a quarter inch at best of precipitation for our region. All right, let's get back to our summary of forecasting at a glance through Saturday. And you can see we take a midweek dip in temperatures. We could have some wind chills stuck in the 30s on Wednesday, maybe even some stray flakes to start out the day on Wednesday as well. PM update there is available at CapitalWeatherGang.com, and a direct link to that latest forecast that I put out on the blog is at CWG.news/latest. All right, Dwayne wants it to stay mild. You're not ready for snow. I know. I like to talk about it. We got a lot of snow lovers who maybe make a lot of noise when they don't see the snow that they want. So I'm trying to answer that a little bit, but also, even for people who don't like snow, I don't want you to be surprised if we do see a few stray flakes later this week. All right, Donna, I will get back to you on that. I haven't looked at Iowa weather for this week, but that is a great question. I'm happy to try and get that to you after the broadcast. Here's the temperatures around the mid-Atlantic region for this week, starting pretty average and comfortable, even though maybe a little cooler than today. I would say Monday, starts our cooling trend slowly, but we dip Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, most likely in the 40s. I think we'll stay below 50 degrees. And then wind chills are worth highlighting for I think Wednesday. They could stay in the 30s, so stuck under the 40 degree mark with some moderate breezes potentially on Wednesday, but rebounding Friday and Saturday back probably above average, which is around 50 degrees for high temperature for this time of year in much of the region. Clouds are a story this week, unfortunately, here in the blue. The lightest blues are overcast skies, timing perfectly for breaks during some nighttime hours and then re-clouding over for many of our daytime hours for this week. And maybe another system bringing us some clouds, maybe some rain later Saturday night, Sunday, this upcoming weekend. So we'll need to watch that. Low confidence on the timing and amounts of any rain as it looks now. But just highlighting with our shortest days of the year basically upon us. Sun hours, even on a clear day, it's a short day, but we could still see a lot of filtered sunshine and not our brightest skies this upcoming week. That's kind of managing your expectations I want to do since we will have limited sunshine at times. Underneath these clouds, only a little hint of some precipitation later Tuesday into early Wednesday. This is a light disorganized system, but I wanted to highlight stray, non-accumulating snowflakes are possible around the Beltway by late Tuesday night into early Wednesday. And just so you know, winter storm impacts are staying into the highest elevations, even limited in those impacts, into the highest elevations of West Virginia and the Appalachian Mountains. Notice that even the I-81 corridor is looking impact-free as it looks now, and even the threat level from our local National Weather Service office in Sterling, Virginia, keeping impacts for late Tuesday into early Wednesday into that far western and highest elevation region portion of our region for this upcoming storm. And amounts are light. I can't stress that enough. This is even just for a coating. The probability of a coating remains very low, but for you snow lovers, I was hunting for even a dusting or a coating of snow, and there's just a little hint of slightest probability, under 10% chance, for some of those higher hills and elevated areas along the I-81 corridor in Virginia, and in those higher elevations around Frederick as well. And amounts, that was probability, and here are the amounts. They're still, I hunted for that 10% or even less chance of an amount of a dusting or a coating, and that's still really hard to find. 90% chance we don't see any of this much snow in quotes for this upcoming system that's disorganized and fairly dry, and it's not exactly abundant moisture to work with late Tuesday into early Wednesday. All right, let me check questions and comments. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com on Facebook, X, and YouTube Live for our Sunday Sunset Chat. Every week, we do this for 20 minutes, and I'm really pleased to see all of you tonight. Here's the PM update available at CapitalWeatherGang.com or a direct link at CWG.news/latest. On the air about 8 more minutes or so. Let's see, Chad, indeed, I still agree with your sentiment about the rain. I'm glad we have what we're able to get, even though we could use a little bit more. And Dwayne, I hope I have allayed your fears of not any real accumulating snow around the Beltway this week, but stray snowflakes are possible. And we've got Chad putting chains on the tractor and ready for a couple good snows. We might have more time to adjust along the I-81 corridor and points east for some snow that requires chains, but I love the sentiment there. We're getting ready. All right, Lewis, I don't see any major impacts from the West Coast weather telegraphing over to our side of the country this week as it stands now. We'll see if maybe we have an energized system with some of indirectly related to that energy Saturday night into Sunday, but we're pretty quiet this week. And Lisa, the fog is getting a little thicker, especially around the Chesapeake Bay tonight and points east. But it should, with the cold front moving through a little bit after midnight and pushing eastward, we should get some of this out of here with some drier west and northwest winds. Some moderate breezes, I think around 15, maybe one gust to 20 miles per hour tonight, but that should help dry us out and clear us out. Hello, Maria. Thanks so much for tuning in from Facebook. I hope you had a good week. All right. I love all your questions and comments. Let's keep going into the kind of medium to longer term. Again, rainfall amounts for the next 7 days. Actually, this is just for the next 72 hours to really focus on that storm through Wednesday morning being light in the moisture department. Even if we see a little bit of mixed precipitation in with the rainfall around the Beltway, it's still light amounts of liquid equivalent, rainfall equivalent moisture. The system is fairly, dry as things go. It's not exactly moisture starved and not really happy with its level of moisture. It needs a little bit more, not much to be produced. But anything helps, right? We still have a surplus in recent weeks of our rainfall deficit, now turned to rainfall surplus. So we're doing a little bit better in the drought department. This takes a few weeks to dent the drought, but the good news is no longer do we have D3 of drought level out of 4 levels in the region. The red is gone in the I-81 corridor, and now we're seeing more of this darker orange that's kind of reduced to a D2, a 2 out of 4 drought level, and we hopefully can keep the trend going, but mixed news, neutral news, let's call it, for kind of the longer term 8 to 14 day period. There's no clear signal of seeing below average or above average moisture and precipitation in our region, but it's okay. This December doesn't have much evaporation or plant transpiration to speak of, So I think this will be, neutral at worst and will be okay for the coming couple weeks. Now, a clear signal here in the temperature department. We've got a decent chance for above average temperatures over next work week in the 8 to 14 day time frame. So maybe there could be one more day or so of 60 degrees or warmer in the region, with again the benchmark for average this time of year around the Beltway. Our high temperature is about 50 degrees, plus or minus a few degrees. Here it is, your earliest sunsets of the year. This is the earliest you will talk to me. I'm so happy to say that. We lose no more, just a few more seconds this week of evening light. Now, to get the shortest days of the year, as is always typical with our winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere, we're going to shave off a few more minutes from the sunrise time here. We'll have later and later sunrises as we progress toward the winter solstice, but halt our loss of evening light. I'm on Facebook, X, and YouTube right now. Camden Walker, pleased to see you. I'm with CapitalWeatherGang.com. We're doing a summary of the week ahead, as we always do, on our weekly Sunday Sunset Chats for 20 minutes. And checking now, under 4 minutes left. Let's get to the recap for you. And Chad is spinning positive with our mild air, keeping the heating bills down. I love that, Chad. That is a way to spin positive indeed. All right, so here again, latest forecast on the CapitalWeatherGang.com is my PM update. Direct link, you can go to CWG.news/latest. And a recap of a start and end of the week and average level temperatures, but we do dip in the middle of this week with even some notable wind chills on Wednesday, perhaps stuck in the 30s. Stray snowflakes can't be ruled out, with some kind of a light, disorganized, rainy system moving through. Mixed precipitation that shouldn't accumulate, could be more likely west and northwest of town in the higher elevations, but temperatures look much too warm for any accumulation around the Beltway or the I-95 corridor for that matter. And to that point, temperatures, again, start and end average or a little above average for this week, with a dip there in the middle of the week, but still not enough, even along the I-81 corridor, for a high probability event of snowfall accumulation. And again, let me show you the disorganized nature for this late Tuesday and early Wednesday system. It really focuses its precipitation, which should be snow in the highest elevations, the ski slope areas of the Appalachian Mountains. Clouds are going to stick around for much of this week. Just want to kind of manage your expectations with our shortest days generally upon us here in December. It's going to be hard during the daylight hours, with clouds perfectly annoyingly timing for their most extent of covering the sky during many daytime hours. But we'll manage. We'll have some breaks in clouds every now and then. And here's the winter storm impact expectations. Very limited nuisance level event. Look at that, mainly sticking to Garrett County and west of I-81 in the higher elevations of West Virginia. And the winter storm threat evaluation from our local National Weather Service office is still keeping like a yellow event, which is kind of lowish impact, medium confidence at best, well into the western higher elevation portions of our region as well. And here's a probability for a coating or a dusting of snow. Snow lovers, I tried, but 4% in Luray and Frederick for maybe a coating of snow late Tuesday into early Wednesday, and then accumulation amounts, again, 10% or less chance of even seeing, look at that, Frederick, Luray, Harrisonburg, dusting, coating of snow. 90% chance we don't even see this much snow accumulate, but I'm hunting for you, but also trying to manage those who don't like snow. I don't want you to be surprised. There is that slight chance we see a couple snowflakes in higher elevations of Virginia and Maryland, which have an easier time typically of accumulating snow. Maybe there's a grassy, slushy accumulation for a moment here or there late Tuesday into early Wednesday. I'm Camden Walker. Let me check for the last 30 seconds here your questions and comments. I'm on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Thanks for sharing those links, those shortened links, with your friends and family. PM update available at CapitalWeatherGang.com or direct link at CWG.news/latest. Let's see, we've got Charlene reporting fog all day there in Pennsylvania. Should be flushed out of here, cleared out with the breeziness behind her and drier air coming in behind our cold front late tonight. We've got Paul. I think I would lean Saturday. Paul is drier than Sunday, most likely, but stay tuned for forecast tweaks as we get toward this weekend. Kristen, I appreciate you tuning in on Facebook for a weekly chat. You're most welcome. And Catherine, you're welcome for the average temperature information as well. And indeed, the averages are coming down, but it's important to keep that benchmark in mind when we look at some of these maps. Lisa, we could indeed have a slightly dreary week with a lot of filtered sunshine and many clouds around. I feel you on that. And Lisa, I agree with you too on snow. It would brighten things a little bit for this winter as well. David, see you next week. Mike reporting a bit of clearing in the valley. You have a good week. Chad and Kenny got a good rain event in Martinsburg today in West Virginia. That's great. Excellent to hear. All right, I will see all of you next week. Charlene, I'll see you next week as well. Thanks everyone for tuning in for a weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. Anytime you need us, we're at CapitalWeatherGang.com. You'll see me, Camden Walker, next week on Facebook, X, and YouTube for our weekly chat. 20 minutes, still around 4:46, with the sunset stalling now as we get toward our winter solstice. We're not going to get any earlier. So no, you won't talk to me any earlier next week as well. All right, cheers and bye for now. Have a really good week.